So some vehicles have really low charge, all the way down to 390 grams, which is 17 point something ounces. No, 13. God damn it, did I get it right? 13 point something ounces. 390 grams is just under 14 ounces. So you have a system less than 1 pound. Real touchy to over or under charging. But it'll still show out cold out the dash if you squirt some cans in there, and you could be over or under charge, and it'll feel like it's working just great out the window or out the dash. After a collision, sometimes when you have to take out a dash, somebody may have done a lot of work on a dash, but all of a sudden they find out one vent doesn't work well, or there was in a collision and they thought nothing else was damaged and they just thought they had to replace the plastic, and then it turns out maybe one vent doesn't cool enough, so they have to get an okay from the insurance company to get approval to tear back in, go inside and look for the problem. And as you can see here, yeah, I prefer to work on residential or commercial. It's a lot easier than tearing a dash apart for 8 hours. So for the insurance company and or the company owner or of the car or owner of the company, you can take and measure all the temperature ducts at the exact same time and show them that maybe one vent is coming out at 80 degrees while the others are coming out at 40 degrees or 50 degrees or so. So hey, there's a problem here. You could take your measurements and say, hey, we got super low airflow here. Every one of these, their velocity is at 900 feet a minute, but the velocity of this one over here is at 300 feet a minute, and showing that there's a problem with ducting or a kink hose when they put it back together, or when they slip the duct back on, it popped off and it's bleeding out under the dash. And so that's something that you can record and actually take a short clip in video, so somebody could get approval for a supplement with the insurance company or the owner. A multiple to do. You literally can record. I mean, look, we have 37 degrees, 39 degrees coming out all of the dash, and 38, 39, 37, and then when the compressor clicks off from the clutch, it'll jump up to 44 degrees. So you can actually watch it kicking in and out as the clutch goes in and out. And you record all this, make a short clip, and it goes in with your work order or your invoice as records of when you started up the system, you commissioned it in. This is how it was operating at the time it left the shop. Often I have to do this, it's the exact opposite. It just came from a shop, or it came for 2 or 3 shops, repeated retemps of repairing. And what I do is I record all the dash temperatures, the inlet temperatures, all the pressures, especially with the guys who use the dumbass little cans and they get it cold out of the dash and it's coming out 39 degrees out of the dash, but they have it low on refrigerant, and so the superheat will be really high for that particular vehicle, and the discharge, you can see I'm taking the temperature of the discharge temperature with one of the Tesla clamps of the compressor. The discharge temperature of the compressor will be skyrocketing high. You'll have like 210 degrees or so, but yet it'll be cooling really cool, but it's roasting the compressor. And sometimes I have to prove that and record it and then turn it in, and either it's going to small claims court or they're just getting their money back from the previous shop who worked on the vehicle. This is something, as we approach summer, I'm constantly doing over and over. I got shops who hate me because they don't know what they're doing, and I catch them and I record it and I have all the evidence, and I submit it to the customer, submit it to the owner of the shop who the vehicle came into. I'm just there to data log and record as is condition the vehicle came in after it's been attempted repair several times in a shop. You got the data, you can record it live, and go have the customer collect their money from there from having bad work done. And this is a constant thing over and over and over again. especially on the newer cars, especially on the electric cars. Actually, here's a good one. Somebody stated, you know, a lot of cars have electric compressors, and a lot of owners don't know this, or somebody working on them. And so they think they could feed in liquid refrigerant in the liquid line, and they throttle the car is going to save the compressor while you're feeding liquid in the suction line on the low side. You're feeding liquid in a charger in, but if you throttle it up, it'll make the compressor go faster, which on fixed piston old style cars and refrigeration it does. But on the cars that don't have compressors that are connected to the engine with a belt, they're totally isolated, and they're 3-phase electrical compressors. Throttling the car, having somebody step on the car, putting a piece of stick or piece of wood or something like that to bring the engine RPMs up so you could slowly feed liquid in the low side line, has nothing to do with the electric compressor at all. It's totally oblivious. They totally separate it. That compressor will go the same RPM whether you make the engine go 1,000 RPMs or 6,000 RPMs. It will absolutely make no difference on the compressor. So when you feed that liquid down the suction line, because you're used to feeding in, metering in your R22 or your R410 in your refrigeration system like that, by upping the RPMs on the compressor doesn't work the same on the cars. And yes, I get burnt up compressors from just that one. It's a good money maker from the guys who get these new cars, have been doing refrigeration for 20 or 40 years, and go, oops, not the same. This ain't your granddaddy Chevy anymore. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one.